Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Big Lee's World Podcast. It is I, your host, Big Lee, coming to you once again from the Boom Boom Room right here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And tonight I have with me a very special guest. I have the boss man, the top dog, the big one of Inhumane Championship Wrestling. I have the legend, Krusher Koloff, with me. Krusher, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh man, I'm making it. I'm making it. Just trying to get caught up on all this past week of wrestling shows and wrestling drama. You seeing all this going on lately?
Oh, there's been a lot of wrestling drama lately. So,
I think probably my
and
most
I
fresh.
and I'm kind of privileged here. I'm in the boom boom room.
Look at that, the world famous Boom Boom Room. Yeah, no, I've been watching some of this stuff, and one thing that caught my attention was I was watching this press conference from after the Royal Rumble, and I thought it was funny. And this kind of gets on my whole soapbox of wrestling personalities and all this stuff. And sometimes they don't use the best common sense. One, why they thought like they would get some kind of scoop asking about a pending lawsuit. They asked that in there, and I'm like, what do y'all think he's going to say? Like, you think he's just going to open up and divulge information that's, pending legal action? Like, no. And then the one thing that I was hoping somebody would have asked, which they never did, was, how did the relationship come about with using TNA talent for WWE? Like,
Yeah. I was curious about that myself. What were the innards for that deal? So,
yeah,
I don't know if you noticed, but after Cody Rhodes was done and he was walking off behind the stage, he was so worried about trying to find a C4.
dude,
He kept saying, "Somebody got a C4? Is there a C4? Dude, just go.
I
You're
tell
done."
you, dude's a company man. He's like, hey, we've got a sponsorship here, and I want to get that,
Yeah, he's like,
get
"We
that
got to
image of me
promote it.
drinking it.
So
You
he
know,
was
ha-
adamant that man wanted a C4. So
had Slim Jim not been kind of iffy on their sponsorship there, he may would have snapped into a Slim Jim in front of the camera.
well, even Cody, he would though. I mean, he is a company man. Like you can tell, he really tries to push sponsors and help the company out. So
I still say that
can't
like,
fault him.
his whole gimmick or his work style is not really a what my interest is, but I will have to say that was probably one of the biggest AEW fumbles was letting Cody go.
Yeah, that really was. Like you would have thought Tony Khan would have put more effort into it and said, you know what, we're just going to keep you here, dude. But nope.
Like there's a lot of stuff with AEW I love. Like I love Eddie Kingston and I love the House of Black, but sometimes Tony Khan, like I worry about him because like I heard the thing where he was talking about like when that whole altercation with CM Punk happened, and he was like, "Oh, I was scared for my life," and I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm like, "Wait, how young are you in the wrestling business that you see a little scuffle, a little fight in the locker room, and you get scared and want to fire everybody?" I hate to tell you
Freaking
this,
out.
but yeah, I'm like, buddy, I hate to tell you this, but the further you get in wrestling, that happens more often than not. I mean,
Yeah, so far with Inhumane Championship Wrestling, we haven't had nobody try to kill me yet. So I guess that's good. Which we've only had the first show.
well, hey, well, I guess that's true. That's true, and that's what we're here to talk about tonight. We're bringing this up because if you're listening to this, right as it comes out this Saturday night, this is going to be the second show for Inhumane Championship Wrestling, returning back to Corning, Arkansas, and bell time is at 6 p.m. Our doors open at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. If I could talk and put down the Dr. Pepper, and the bell time is at 7 p.m. And
let me stress, bell time will be at 7 p.m. And
yes,
that's the one thing that I am adamant about is I hate these companies that say, "Oh, bell time's 7:30 and 8:15. You're finally getting something going." If you're not there at 7 o'clock, you're missing it. So be there at 7 because we will start at 7.
And I can confirm the first show, he's right. He started right when they were supposed to. So if you make it out to the show, be there on time, get there at 6. Be ready. Show starts at 7, full concessions, everything. It's a great night out with the family. But let's talk a little bit about how this started here. So where did the ideal of the Inhumane Championship Wrestling and all this, where did this originate from?
So it originated from the Inhumane Society, which I've been a member of for 23 years. And when we were discussing names for the company, everything was taken. This has already been used. Let's not do that. And I kept coming back to Inhumane Championship. And finally, after like 3 days of discussion with my wife, I said, "This is it. This is the name." So, it's kind of a push to my brothers in the Inhumane Society. And it's kind of a continuation, of what we've done for years. So that's where the name come from.
Awesome. Why Corning, Arkansas? Because I remember when I first heard about the show happening, my first question was, where is Corning, Arkansas? And
So
where I thought
Corning,
it was nowhere near where it actually was.
nowhere near. So Corning, Arkansas is about 25 miles from Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Poplar Bluff, Missouri is a big town. Then you have 30 miles away on the other side is Paragould, and you have Jonesboro, bigger towns. And Corning, Arkansas is where the very first Inhumane Society show happened. So we wanted to bring it back in the same building where we started it.
Okay. So when you say go ahead.
We were happy to find out after the show that show had the most attendance that building has seen for a wrestling show. So we did, the fans came out and did something good for us on that night.
And I think the side note before we go any further with this, I don't think people realize like how nice this building is that y'all run in. I remember when I got there, like I literally pulled up in the parking lot and I was kind of dumbfounded because I was like, wait a minute. This doesn't seem like this is the right spot. This building looks way too nice. Because you and I both admit we've been to some rough spots in Arkansas for wrestling. And
oh yeah.
And pulling up to this place is just kind of like, okay. And then I remember walking in the door and I'm like, is this where the wrestling's at? And they're like, yeah, this is where the wrestling's at. Do you have a ticket or do you need a ticket? It's like, well, I need one. I just want to make sure because this building looks way too nice for this to be for wrestling. So I think I just remember being...
It's a community center, so the town really keeps up with that community center, and they have a gym and all kind of stuff in there. So, they really like it. It's really a nice place. That's another reason we picked it. It was just nice and big and comfortable.
Well, easy parking, concrete parking, which I don't think that's another thing that people really understand when it comes to like shows and stuff like that. Just the overall surroundings. I tell you what, I've been to a couple of shows where you've had to park in the dirt and the grass, and I absolutely hate that.
Yeah. In the rain, in the grass, you're digging up potholes. Yeah.
You're like, please let me hurry up and get out of here before I get stuck. So yeah,
there have been some crazy buildings.
So I know you said that y'all wanted to go back there because of how well the first show did, but what made y'all decide of Corning for the first show? Like, is there some kind of like thing for Corning just besides the location, or?
Well, as I said, the very first show that ever happened for Inhumane Society was there at Corning.
So not just the company, like y'all as a faction, y'all had y'all's first show in Corning.
Yeah, we had our first show in Corning. It's almost been 23 years now that we had that first show for Inhumane Society. So we just kind of made it full circle and brought it back to where we started.
So I guess
and we're branching out too. So we have a show coming up in July in Paragould, Arkansas. So we're starting to kind of move around and test the waters.
But Corning will be home.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I don't want to kind of jump the gun on things I want to talk about here, but and we can get a little bit detailed on this a little bit later. But that show did not end in the best of your favor, for what I remember. Are you still a part of the Inhumane Society?
So for those that don't know the Inhumane Society, we fight. We'll fight each other. That was, from what they've told me, that is my initiation into owning my own company. And I talk to them, and we still get along. I mean, we're all brothers, but how did I say this? I'm one that believes in payback. And
so you're saying there's a receipt coming?
Oh, there's a receipt. And there's quite a few receipts because I remember everybody that was in there at that time. So, yeah, there's a lot of receipts that are about to be handed out, and some on that night.
Some coming this Saturday night, maybe.
This Saturday night, it's going to be a good show, and we have a lot of good talent there.
And that's the thing. Like, I want to point out, and I know, and I've talked about this previously on past podcasts, but kind of how do I say this the right way? Geographical lines, to me, it seems like there are certain talents and there's certain people that you're used to seeing. So if company X runs this town, you're pretty well going to see the same talent that runs in this town. But where y'all different at, y'all aren't just using just regular Northeast Arkansas guys. Like, y'all are bringing in guys from all throughout the Mid-South and the Midwest.
So that is when we decided to do this. And on the first show, there was one guy from Arkansas, outsider. And he was the only guy from Arkansas that was on that show. Everyone else was Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, just all over, Indiana. So that's what. So, most companies, they, like you said, use the same talent, and every time the crowd sees them, it's the same guy, same matches, same storyline for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want that. I want different talent. I want different styles. I want people from everywhere to come and show this crowd something that they may not have ever seen at one of those shows. So that's why I've decided to branch out and bring talent in.
And see, I think a good thing with that is, besides giving something, the fans hadn't seen before, you never know exactly who or what you're going to see there. So, and I bring this up because, like I said, I did go to the first show, and y'all brought in a lady who had started working with the NWA, and Natalia, or I think that's how you say. I don't know how to say her last name. I feel bad for that. But
Markova.
Okay, I'm going to leave that for you to say. And, she came in and she worked a match. Well, what's funny is I seen on TikTok, little suggestion things, a viral clip from that show of where a kid, a family had went, and I guess their kid wasn't a big fan of women's wrestling. And when he seen Natalia come out and wrestle, there was just something, I don't know what it was about her, that really grabbed his attention, and he became very excited and animated for her. And like the clip blew up on TikTok.
Oh wow.
So I thought
Hey.
that was pretty cool. And then of course, I think it was like a couple weeks after that, Natalia went to Puerto Rico and pretty well broke the internet with some of her great moves. And I'm sure if you look up
The pinfall.
yes,
Just
the infamous pinfall. So what's cool
look up
now?
the pinfall.
Yes. And so what's cool about that is that if you were at that show in Corning, not only did you get to see somebody before they just blew up, you got to meet them, talk to them, get your picture, autographs, whatever. So you got to have that real inclusive, small, intimate setting with them, to where now you probably won't get that. Or as me and you were talking about before we started recording, now if you go to see her or meet her, it's going to cost you probably an arm and a leg versus what it would be at like a show like Inhumane Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, because I mean, the bigger she gets, the more her price is going to go up, and it's going to be harder for smaller companies to get her. So that was I'm really glad that they had shown up. She was really nice, and Brian Idol was there, and he's blowing up. He's now the WWC heavyweight champion in Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
And he blew up within the past month. So, it's cool to see that.
And that's the thing. And I think that's what people don't quite understand always about independent shows, is it's like you get out and you go to these shows, and that's where you get to see, I know we could say the stars of tomorrow, but you don't realize at that point in time how close tomorrow is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. Like this show, we're bringing in a guy who's wrestled in NWA. He's wrestled in multiple companies, and he is the suplex. What is his moniker now? He is the suplex machine, and Kurt Gannon is his name. And
Okay.
he was part of tag team. Well, now he is the suplex cyclone. That's who he is. And if you look up Kurt Gannon on YouTube or anywhere, the man will suplex you out of your boots.
So I need a little inside information here from you. And this will only be relevant to those that were there at the show. Was this the guy that was sitting front row at the beginning of the show?
No, he wasn't there.
That wasn't him?
No.
Man.
No, I think I know who you're talking about, but no, he's not a worker or anything. So
okay.
He was just a fan.
Okay,
but he's interested. So
I was gonna say, because when I seen the graphic for it, I was like, wait, wasn't that guy that was front row?
Kurt Gannon is from Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, pulling it up here, looking at the card for this weekend. I mean, this is a pretty stacked card. The first one I want to talk about, good, close, personal, longtime brother of mine, Madman Pondo, is returning to Arkansas to take on T-Dog Dolliver. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know too much about T-Dog Dolliver. What can you tell me about him?
T-Dog is in his first couple of years in the business. He's still green. He's got a lot to learn, but man, he can hit. He can hit. So he's a big guy. So I think him and Pondo will put on a pretty good match. He's never done, hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
So Pondo gets a hold of a weapon, he's going to wear him out. But, I'm sure T-Dog, he's used a few weapons in past few years. So
I was gonna say you
it'll
must
be
really hate him to put
interesting.
him in there with Madman Pondo. That's not something that like I've been in the booking office for a couple different companies, and I've not had too many people knocking on the door saying they want to work Madman Pondo, unless they're a real
So
deathmatch guy. So that's
so he worked at the first show. He worked Danny Ice
okay.
with um. So after the show, he came to my house. He spent the night at my house that night, and he said, "I want somebody that's going to push me." So when I talked to Pondo and he agreed to come, I said, "That's the man that's going to push him."
Okay.
So he wants to get to that next level. So why not put him against the guy that can put him on that next level? So
Hey, I mean,
so now it's up to him. He has to go out and perform and overperform now because he's put himself on the spot.
and I mean that's the thing. Like I've known Madman Pondo for years, and I get that this guy's gonna have to make a name for himself. But if he goes out there and he tries to phone it in, or he tries to, not give 110% and bring the violence, Pondo's going to turn him to shreds.
Pondo kick that ass. So yeah. So he's got he's got a night ahead of him. So and he is coming. He doesn't know this, and he hears this. You didn't hear it from me, but so we're going to meet at Lambert's Cafe on Friday night in Sikeston, Missouri. We're going to meet him there. It's my son's birthday, and we're going to just celebrate birthday. And it's kind of his last right night. If you get what I'm saying.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's we're gonna have some prayer time and we're gonna read him into the last rites that night before the match. So
Yeah. I mean, just in case, all is well.
just in case, you never know. I mean, it's Pondo.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. So
and the sign, he's got the sign. He's got the bat with the saw. I mean, it's Pondo. So.
Man, did I ever tell you my story with Pondo and that baseball bat?
No.
So he came in when I was working with Cape, and he would come in to do a meet and greet and be a special enforcer for one of our Halloween shows. And you know as well as I do how rough the commission can be. So you don't think about like we know Pondo's not going to wrestle or anything like that. Pondo brings his gear in. He brings his little bat with the saw blade. I'm sitting there at the table at the front door, and I'm sitting there eating my lunch. And Pondo comes in. He's like, "Hey, Bigley." I'm like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" He's like, "Good. Where's the locker room?" I point it to him. Don't think anything about it. I go back to pick up my sandwich to start eating again. Here comes the commissioner out having a conniption, and he's like, "Did you see what that man just brought in?" I said, "Who?" He's like, "That big old guy there with the baseball bat and the saw blade." I was like, "Oh, that's Pondo." I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of like his thing. He goes everywhere with it." He's like, "He can't have that here." I said, "Well, he's not wrestling. He's just posing for photos and being a special enforcer here." And he's like, "No, I'm not going to allow y'all to have the show if he keeps that in the building."
No, damn.
I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." So here I go, put my burger back down. I go to Pondo. I'm like, "Hey, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I got to have you work with me on this because you know how the commission is." And I told him about it. He's like, "But I'm not wrestling." I'm like, "Dude, I know. I'm just trying to eat my lunch here." And he keeps,
and
he
you
came.
left it. Why would you leave your burger? Bring it with you.
Well, I was just like, so then he goes and he takes it. He finally takes it out to the car, and I go back. Then my burger's cold, and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." I was just like,
Man.
but yeah, like I said, Pondo don't play, and Pondo, like you said, Pondo just got off of a successful tour in Japan, I just posted recently about him. I had a run with the BJW. For those that aren't aware, that's the Big Japan Pro Wrestling Deathmatch title. So
yeah, I'm really proud he got that. That's really cool.
I was hoping he could have brought it back with him, but you know how politics go.
Yeah. I messaged me and my wife were talking one night, and I asked, we were talking about his trips to Japan. And so I messaged him. I said, "How many trips have you done?" He said 47.
Mm-hmm.
So he's close to that 50 mark.
You tell him at 51 he's
And
going to
that's a
take you.
lot. What's that?
I said it. If you tell him trip number 51 he's going to have to take you.
I want to go on trip 50. So
You want to go on trip?
Party on trip 50.
My only fear about leaving the country is I'm afraid if I go, they won't let me back in.
Yeah. I'd lose all my stuff. And they'd say, "Oh, you stay here." No, I'm not staying.
They're like, we've got rid of him. We're not taking a chance of letting him back in.
I know we got walls, but I'm digging.
So
since you brought up the Missouri Athletic Commission, and this is we're speaking our mind, right? Is that what this podcast is?
Yeah,
we speak our mind.
Yeah, that's why we got the parental advisory warning.
Good, because I hate the Athletic Commission in Missouri. You suck. I hate you. I hate you. I feel better.
Dude, I'm telling you, they're the worst. That was the one thing.
It was so nice before they regulated every little thing.
I had
I'm not a big fan.
Two big goals of mine in this business. I wanted to work a show in the Black River Coliseum in Poplar Bluff. I got to do that. The other thing I wanted to do was honor the legacy of my dad, who wrestled as Dr. Jerry Watson in Malden, the Malden area in Kentucky. I wanted to do a show in Malden. And when I had the paper signed and the permit in to run that Malden show, and the commission pulled the permit and said, "Yep, we don't want to send nobody down there out of their way, so you can't have your show." After we had the permit paid, and the inspector guy for the show literally took the paper and paid for it right there with him. And then 2 weeks later tell us that we can't do it.
That sucks. Yeah, Athletic Commission in Missouri, you suck.
Yes. Suck. And they complain that they're losing money all the time. And it's like, look at how you regulate things. That's why.
If they would just let us do shows, let us do our thing, take their money and just shut up and go away, it would be so great. But they have to be there, and they have to regulate every little thing you do, and they suck.
I agree. And see,
man, I feel really good.
Right? It feels good to get it off the chest. And see, that's
really
the thing. And that's the thing with it. And it's like, I understand, and I'm willing to meet them in the middle. I'm perfectly fine with them, especially coming from the deathmatch side of things. I'm perfectly fine with them every so many months requiring blood tests. That's all the fine in the world. But I don't know if you're fully aware of how it works now, but they take their almost 8% of each ticket sale. So in the case of, the local wrestling company here, if you sell a $15 ticket, they take 8% of that $15, which is almost $1. And then no matter if you sell a $5 ticket or a $50 ticket, they take an automatic $1 on top of the taxes. So you're losing almost $2 a ticket off each ticket sale.
Damn, that's crazy.
And then that's on top of the $150 permit.
Yeah. That's, man. And there's no way to get rid of them. they will never go away until they want to go away.
Yeah, and it's
that's what sucks about, companies trying to put on shows and them regulating everything. Leave us alone. Let us run a show. Let us do our thing and take your little measly money, and leave us alone. But they don't do that.
And see, that was get on the soapbox here of things that frustrate me. That was probably about 2019, I think it was 2018, 2019. I had a handshake deal with the promoter of the local strip club in East Cape Girardeau. And for those that don't know, East Cape Girardeau is technically on the Illinois side, where we could, in essence, set up a show, use the building for free, and they just wanted the bar. And some of the business partners at the time did not want to have the wrestling associated with the strip club. And I'm like, you see how much money we're saving if we go over here and do this? And y'all don't want to? And now, as strict as rent is here, and then the strict as the commission is, it's kind of like, well, I tried telling y'all we had a deal worked out, and y'all didn't want to do it. So
y'all screwed it up. So
I mean, you've been in this business long enough. If you can get a free building, you take a free building.
Yeah, you take a free building. It don't matter where it's at.
Right. You can make it work. But yeah, like I said, that's kind of the thing, is it's like, I am glad that, you are running in a state to where they have no commission, so that you can get some of these talent in. And that's the thing that people got to understand. Like, not everybody wants to deal with the commission. And it's not just a thing of like, they're like, well, if you have a commission, you have the best of the best. It's like, no, trust me, because there are plenty of people in Missouri licenses that are absolutely terrible workers.
Yeah, and see, that's another reason we took Corning, was because it's so close to Poplar Bluff, and we can still get those Missouri fans and not have to pay that dumbass commission.
And see, that's the thing that people need to realize with Corning. Like you said, it's 25 miles from Poplar Bluff, so it's a quick drive from Poplar Bluff. It's a little over an hour from Sykeston, so super easy drive. From Cape, it's like an hour and a half. Super easy drive. For those people that are traveling for like St. Louis and stuff like that to shows, it's quicker and just as easy to go the opposite direction, to go down south and hit up Corning.
Yeah.
So,
and we are like trying to get people to our show that you probably won't see around the area, like Natalia Markova and Brian Idle. They're from Florida. They don't just come through that part, in Corning, Arkansas, and say, yeah, let me just work a show in this town.
Right. Yeah.
So to me, it's easier, and we don't have to deal with Missouri, but we still get Missouri fans. So it's a win-win.
And I mean, the ticket prices are really affordable at $10. I mean, I don't know any other company bringing this type of talent in for $10 a ticket. That's for sure.
So we have had people ask, are you going to raise the price, for like having big names? And we're not. We're keeping it at $10. We're not going, I mean, we're trying to make money, but I don't want to scam everybody or peel your scabs off, and take all your money. I want to give you guys some quality, just good people that you can meet and keep it at the same price.
And I've said this with a lot of promoters I've had on here. Speaking from experience as well, is it's like, people got to understand, like, when you have these independent wrestling companies like this, you're not trying to fund your second, condominium in Florida or something like that. Like, you're putting on a show because you love the business, but at the same time, you gotta work it to where you can make a little bit and not go broke doing it.
Yeah. And sponsors is where that helps. Any sponsors we can get. So, And that's what we're in the process of now. You know, we've got a few sponsors, but we want to add more sponsors to it. So
I was gonna
it's just a lot of legwork and a lot of word of mouth. So
I was gonna say I still have my card from the last show I went to, this Harold's Barbecue.
oh, did you get a free meal or?
It says in the back of here I got $10 off.
Okay, so those are good at any time. So you could take that Saturday before the show
Uh-huh.
and get you some food, and he'll honor it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't been to this. Well, I haven't been back to Corn. Well, no, that's a lie. I drove through Corning when I was coming back from Little Rock. When I was going to Poplar Bluff. And
So
I think
you can
that
so you can take that in anytime. If they come from our show and it's on our ticket,
mm-hmm.
and he will honor it at any time. So this show, he Harold's Barbecue.
Shout out to Harold's Barbecue.
Harold's Barbecue in Corning, Arkansas.
1108 West Main Street.
Wrote West Main Street. He wrote on the back of 20 tickets. And so when you come in to buy a ticket, you may get lucky, you may not, but 20 tickets have free food, $10 off, free family meals, free all kind of free stuff that you can get. And they will honor it at Harold's Barbecue at any time.
Awesome. Like I said, shout out to Harold's Barbecue for helping sponsor Inhumane Championship Wrestling here. And looking at this here, so this next match I have on my list here, this ends up being a little bit controversial because you got a comment wanting to ask you about this. Apparently, you're having a 2 out of 3 falls match for the Inhumane Championship. Bam Bam Baker versus Devin. How do you say? Is it Devin Graves?
So it's Devin.
Okay.
Graves. Big Daddy Devin Graves.
Yes. And a little bit of controversy about this because TKG Trash Can Graham wanted to know why Devin gets a title shot and not him.
Oh man, Trash Can. He has been a thorn in my side for the past 2 months. he really wanted in on this match, and I was actually requested by Bam Bam Baker to take on Devin Graves because from what Bam Bam told me, he doesn't like his look and he just wants to beat the crap out of him.
Okay.
So I said, well, let's make it a 2 out of 3 falls then. And he said, all I need are 2 falls. So so he actually requested Devin Graves, but Trash Can Graham is not hearing it. And he's kind of sour anyway because he said the fans just didn't treat him like they should have treated him at the last show. So he's got issues.
I was going to say, it seemed like everybody was pretty cool with him there.
They were. I mean, from what I'm told, everybody liked him, but he said it's Arkansas and they suck. So I don't know what his deal is.
But he's not going to win too many fans that way.
It's not. And I think that's the only reason he's mad is because he didn't get the title shot that he thought he deserved. So
to set the record straight, it wasn't your call per se. This was kind of
it was not
the champion's call.
This was the Inhumane Champion's call, and I just said, if that's who you want, that's who you get.
But where you can see Trash Can Graham, TKG, he is teaming with the Roan, Jeremy Travis, to take on the Essence.
So Jeremy Travis I've known him for years, and he is I kind of want to say he's like a strong style type. Because I mean, he's hard hitting, he's fast hitting, and he's almost to me like strong style. And so I put him and Trash Can together because they used to be kind of a team back in the day. And I had this young team, the Essence, and they are from, I believe they're from Kentucky.
Okay.
And they wanted to come in. They wanted to work, somebody. So why not put them against a guy that's holding a grudge and another guy that's just mad, and see what they do. And
now, the Essence, they've had some exposure on the NWA, correct?
What's that?
Now, the Essence, they've had some exposure on the NWA, correct?
I'm not real sure. I'm not real sure about them. I'm not too familiar with the Essence, but when they contacted me, I said, I saw some of the video of them, and I said, I'm bringing you in. If you want to come in, I'll bring you in, and you can work these guys. So, this is the match that intrigues me because I don't know much about them, and I want to know more.
Fair enough. So, where does this go? Let's say that Trash Can Graham and Jeremy Travis, gets this, say they get the W. From there, where does it go from there? Like, does that mean Trash Can Graham itself will bump himself up in order to get like a title shot in the future? Or
right. I'd have to look at it because he would have 2 wins. He'd have 2 wins and no losses, so he bumps himself up. So I would have to say that he would be the next in line.
Yeah,
if he can get the W.
So I guess that brings up my next question. This is something a couple people have asked me about as far as what this company goes. We know your history with tag team wrestling, and we know some of the people involved in their history of tag team wrestling. Yeah. Is there any plans of a tag team championship?
There is. We're actually talking about different designs and kind of what we want now. So, in future shows, there will be tag team championship belts.
Okay, awesome.
We'll have
we're Big League's world exclusive.
Right there you go. And we're talking, about tag team tournament and all that good stuff. So, yeah, there's going to be some stuff happening in the future with that.
Okay, awesome. Now, this is probably the match I'm most looking forward to. You got some top tier talent coming in. You have from OVW, Ari Alexander taking on independent star. She's been on just about everywhere. She's been on AEW, OVW, everywhere. The former Charlie Cruel, now known as Charlie Pierce. So how did this match come about?
Well, I had talked to Charlie Pierce and asked her if she wanted to come to this show and be a part of this show. I was going to have Jennifer Justice back.
Mm-hmm.
She took on Natalia Markova the last show.
Well, yeah, she had less than stellar things to say about me and my reaction to Natalia.
So she had surgery on her foot, so she's out.
Okay.
So then I asked Charlie Pierce, who out there would you want to beat up? Because she was Charlie Cruel, as everybody knows. Well, now she says Pierce the Void. She's angry. She's just, she's meaner than I remember her when she did the flag wrestling show.
Uh-huh.
So I said, who do you want to beat up? And the first person she said was Ari Alexander. So I got a hold of Ari, and she was available. So if that's who she wants, that's who it's got to be again. So we were lucky that she was available because she's getting booked up everywhere. You know, she just had a really good match in Ohio Valley.
Okay.
And I see more in Ohio Valley wrestling with her because she put on a good showing. So this is another girl that, you know, if you want to see an up-and-comer, her and Charlie Pierce, you need to come see that because they're on the come-up.
Like I said, you know, we're talking about this great card of action happening this Saturday night at the MB Alney Jr. Community Center in Corning, Arkansas. You know, like I say, come out this Saturday night for that. $10 a ticket. It's a big card. Another match on here that I seen coming up, and I watched a promo from Brimstone about this, and he's not too happy about it. So you've got like a 6-person scramble coming up on this show as well.
So let me explain this scramble.
Okay.
I've had people ask what it's about, why so many people. So in this championship scramble match, 2 men are going to start, and every 2 minutes, another competitor will enter the match until the participants are all in the match. And then it's only by pinfall or submission to eliminate the other wrestlers.
Okay.
So here's the twist. Here's the twist in the match, though.
Okay.
The twist in the match is if at any time before all the wrestlers are in the match, there's a pinfall, then that wrestler wins the match. The match is over without anybody else even being able to wrestle in the match.
Oh, wow.
So you could be the third guy out there, and you can pin one of the first 2, and the last 3 don't even get a chance to enter into the match. So they kind of they pretty much get screwed out of a title shot.
So this is going to be one of them rare moments where you want to be one of the first drawn.
Yeah, you want to be the first. You don't want to be the last in this case because it could be the worst thing that happens. You know.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's a little twist.
I like it. It's something different. It's something unique. It's not something you see all the time.
Yeah.
I like the innovation here.
So we come up with this match, and it started off with 6. And I got word 2 days ago that Ray Lee from Tennessee, from Swag Wrestling and
the Manitoba Maniac.
Manitoba Maniac. He wants to be part of this match.
Okay.
So it says 6-man scramble. It could end up being 7. It could be 8. It could be 9. You never know who's going to end up in this match.
Hey, I mean, that's pro wrestling for you.
If they draw the last numbers, they could end up getting screwed. So, you know.
So it's a
and
go ahead.
So the winner gets, and this is another thing, is say Brimstone wins. He gets a title shot at any time, anywhere he wants, at any time during any show. So it could be intermission, and he could walk out and point at Bam Bam Baker and say, right now, quit taking your pictures, quit signing autographs, get in the ring. I want my title shot now.
So anytime. It could even be this show.
It could be this show. He could wait until the end of Bam Bam's match, you know, the 2 out of 3 falls,
right?
And he could do it then. So it's just their choice whenever they want.
Yeah, because it seemed like Brimstone, he looked like her in his promo I watched on the Inhumane Championship Wrestling Facebook page that it looked like he was more interested in our good friend Madman Pondo than a scramble.
You know, I don't get Brimstone. I really don't get him. He is so worried about bats. Apparently there was a bat at the last show. I don't remember seeing it, but apparently there was a bat. And he has been on me since the last show. There's a sign when you walk in the building that says no weapons, no bats, no knives, no guns. Apparently somebody hit him with a bat, but I didn't see no bat. So I don't know what he's talking about. So you were in the crowd. Did you see a bat?
I think when all that went down, that was on the opposite side of the ring for me. So, I couldn't really see too much on that side. So
you didn't see no bat either. See, I don't know what he's talking about. He's lost his mind.
I seen the no bats, no barbecue.
Yeah. So, him and Barbecue Man have had this ongoing feud back and forth, for 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
And he can't stand the man. He can't stand the Barbecue Man. The Barbecue Man's been really good to me. Harold the Barbecue, they've been really good to us. But I don't know what he's done to the Barbecue Man, but I don't know. I just don't get it. I mean, the man has been nice to him, He gave him barbecue. And he threw it down and kicked it and said no bat. That's
like blasphemy.
Yeah, you never kick barbecue.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so that'll be interesting to see, what happens there with that. And I mean, wasn't there a bat? I think definitely this show, looking at Pondo, I'm sure there'll be a bat there.
No, I'm pretty sure. And that bat's going to have a blade on the end of it. And I want to stay away from it this time.
Yeah. I was going to say, I've been around a time or two where you've met one-on-one with that bat and fire. And
yeah, he got me in the no-skis with that bat. And that was that wasn't fun.
I could imagine that. So, I mean, this is what's announced. I mean, you got anything? What else is on the card? I know you've had some talent scouting going on there with one of your talents there. I seen the promo, and I remember at the last show, but I'm not too for sure exactly what she's talent scouting for. But
so you're talking about Cameo. So, from what I'm told, she has found her champions. She says future champions. And she's going to let us all know that night who she's representing. And, when we saw a screw job with Bam Bam Baker and Brian Idol.
Right.
Where she had caused Brian Idol actually, he won the match, but that ref, and he's a crooked ref, but he claimed that Brian Idol didn't win. He continued the match, and she is the reason Bam Bam Baker has that title. And I'm not real happy with Bam Bam because I don't get along with Bam Bam, but he is our champion, and you've got to work the business. So I don't know what the deal is with them because he's kind of hesitant with her when you talk about her. So I don't know what's going on with them. But she has some of the talent that's on this card, she is representing now. So I'm kind of curious to see who she's got under her wing now.
See if those dividends pay off in full.
And, I mean, who knows? We're talking tag champs pretty soon. So you just never know who she's got.
Yep, that's true. I mean, maybe that's why Pondo's coming. Maybe
it could be. She might have found her a madman. So
could be. So I mean, there's a lot of questions in the air, but also, on the books, a great card top to bottom here. And like I said, this Saturday night, said at the MB Alney Junior Community Center in Corning, Arkansas. 6 p.m. doors, 7 p.m. bell time. Tickets are $10. If you do want to pick up advanced tickets, you can go to bigleesworld.com and click the link there and get your tickets. Otherwise, there will be tickets available at the door, correct?
That's correct.
All right, perfect. That's what we like to hear. So I mean, I had one other question that was sent over, and they brought up about like I said, your history, Brimstone history, stuff like that. Is there any interest or ideals of bringing a more hardcore deathmatch element to Inhumane Championship Wrestling?
There are, and so this ring that we have is a brand new ring, and we are trying not to put too much blood into this ring. so we are. So in July, we're having a show in Paragould, Arkansas. It's for Santiago Cirillo. He was on The Walking Dead. He is having a horror con and a paranormal show. It's a lot of mental health stuff that's going on in Paragould in July. And Scared City Productions is part of it. And we are going to have a wrestling show in Paragould, Arkansas in July.
Okay.
And so we're talking about another ring that people don't mind getting bloody. And we, we can have the death matches in it. And so we'll start running those shows like in Paragould and Jonesboro, and we'll come back to Corning and we'll do a hardcore show.
Okay, awesome.
So we are going to do that element of show down the road.
Okay, awesome. Now, for those listening to this after February 3rd, you already do have your next show on the books, April 13th, back in Corning, correct?
Yes, April 13th, back in Corning. And we're working on another show in April in Corning, but we have to finalize details before anything happens. There'll be more news on that once we figure it out. So.
All right, perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, so I think that just about wraps it up here. Like I said, this Saturday night, Corning, Arkansas, come out for a great night of Inhumane Championship Wrestling. Like I said, tickets are $10. Advanced ticket, bigleesworld.com. Like I said, doors at 6, bells at 7. Full concession. Stars from AEW, OVW, NWA, JCW, and all your favorite Inhumane Championship Wrestling stars. Krusher, I appreciate having you on here. And you got to tell everybody where they can tell everybody where they can find you and they can find out more about Inhumane Championship Wrestling.
You can find us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Inhumane Championship Wrestling. Find us on TikTok. It's like Inhumane Champions. You can find us on every platform. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Just type in Inhumane Championship Wrestling and you'll find it.
Okay, awesome. And as always, is anything that they put out there, it's going to be shared on the Big Lee's World socials at Big Lee's World on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can pick up Big Lee's World merch over at bigleesworld.com, as well as, like I said, get your tickets for Inhumane Championship Wrestling coming up this Saturday night in Corning, Arkansas. Doors at 6, bells at 7. Come out, get you some barbecue, full concession stand, bring the family, bring the kids. It's going to be a great night of entertainment. Like I said, don't be late. bell time's at 7. They will start at 7.
Bell time, 7 o'clock.
All
We
right.
want to thank you for everything you're doing too for us.
Hey, no worries.
Helping us get the word out.
Hey, no worries. Like I said, I want to get the word out. Like I said, I'm really impressed with the product. I would be lying if I said that, and I heard that another show was starting in Arkansas, in Northeast Arkansas. And I was like, oh, another one of these. This ought to be a train wreck, to say the least. And then I go and, like I said, I was really impressed. Like from the time I pulled up to the building, to the professionalism of everyone there, how clean the building was, how great the crowd interaction was, talent top to bottom. It was a good draw in the house. For y'all's first show, I've seen y'all outdraw. Y'all probably had one of the biggest indie houses outside of, like a Game Changer or a No Holds Barred or something like that. Like, especially in this area, like you've probably had one of the biggest houses I've seen in a hot minute. So I definitely think that y'all are onto something here. And, I look forward to continue to seeing y'all's growth and everything. And, I just do my part to help try to get that word out.
Man, we appreciate you.
All righty. Sounds good. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. Like I said, go out this Saturday night to Corning, Arkansas for Inhumane Championship Wrestling. Advance tickets, $10, bigleaguesworld.com. Tickets will be sold also at the door. Barbecue, come out, get it. One last time, thanks to the sponsor of Inhumane Championship Wrestling, Harold's Barbecue. Make sure you come out early as well. And stop by there on West Main Street and pick you up some barbecue before the show as well. And as always, thanks for listening, everyone. 2 scoops of whoop, whoop, whoop.